one of the arguments I saw in your article that bothers me, and this is not just you, everybody else is this obsession that Guantanamo is affecting how the rest of the world sees us, or that we're creating more terrorists because of this war, or we're creating more terrorists because of Guantanamo. I don't believe it. Why do you?
I believe it because it's not like we're picking random people or anything like that. Most of the people that are actually sent over to Guantanamo are Muslim-based religions, and let's say for the Middle East, okay?
Yes.
Now, if I could understand if it was actually Americans who protested and who were violent, like let's say like Timothy McVeigh, people with the same mind frame as Timothy McVeigh, okay?
Right.
I could understand that. But since it's almost like racial profiling, it just seems like it's following the same path as it always has.
But the problem with it is when the majority of the people who are bombing you are Islamic Muslims of a certain race, you can't exactly not racially profile. And most of the people in Guantanamo, and yes, there has been cases of people who have been wrongly imprisoned there. We should look into that, investigate it, and if they've been wrongly accused, something should be done about it. Most of the people who have been caught there have been caught in battle, fighting the Americans, are prisoners of war. And we moved them over to Guantanamo because we didn't want to keep them in the Middle Eastern countries because they'd be influenced by the people there. We couldn't put them in America because, as you pointed out, and this could be wrong, we didn't want to go by our rules in the Geneva Convention. We did cheat, I'll fully admit it. We put them in Guantanamo to break the rules. We need to look into that. I don't believe that most of the people there are innocent. I believe most of the people there were al-Qaeda terrorists or part of the Islamic faction that want to take down this country. Now, does that mean we should do whatever we want with them because of that? No. But I have to take away this idea that there is a majority of innocent people that are sitting in Guantanamo right now.
I'm not saying there's a majority of them, but the one thing that really bugged me was that only 10 of these people, known to everybody, has been convicted so far. I'm just thinking, okay, if they actually have this proof on them, say they were in part of the insurgency, then why haven't they been convicted yet and just gotten it over with?
Well, they have to be convicted in the Geneva Convention. They'd have to be a United Nations trial, which is your biggest problem. What would you do about it? If you had all these people you haven't convicted, would you set them free?
Well, if you had them convicted, you really can't set them free.
Okay.
You either just go ahead and get it over with and sentence them to whatever you're going to sentence them to. But I don't think just sitting them there and keeping them torturing.
But they're prisoners of war. I mean, the rules are different with prisoners of war as opposed to just, I mean, we've had situations where we've had prisoners of war where they've held our people for a long time too. Should we just set them free?
Well, I'm not saying we should set them free, but like you said, we haven't really been exactly following the Geneva. I mean, we really haven't been keeping that intact, and that's the problem.
My thing is, and we should look into it, and we should at least abide by the rules. I don't think this torture is going to make more terrorists. I don't think the war in Iraq has made more terrorists. I don't think that it might have reconfirmed what a lot of them thought, but here's the greatest myth that's been going on here, is that everybody loved America before this war, and now all of a sudden everybody hates America. I think people have been hating America for a long time. It's just been kind of a quiet little, we don't have to mention it, but now that we're raiding, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I hate America.
But you do got to mention, it actually is getting worse on the people that are hating America and banding together. I mean, look at Hugo Chavez, okay? The speech that he gave at the UN convention.
Yes.
The thing is, a lot of people, as far as other countries, agreed with him. And they think that, okay, well, Bush probably is, a tyrant. And a lot of these other countries, you got to admit, other countries believe the same thing. That's why they don't like us.
But look at the other countries. Here's my other problem. Most of these other countries shouldn't be throwing stones at glass houses.
Oh, of course not.
Hugo Chavez needs to shut up at this point in time because that man is, I'm waiting for this. I'm going to say this right now. I want to wait till the day that he's facing re-election and see how willing he's going to leave. I doubt he is. The man is a dictator pretending to be in a democracy. Most of the people who stood up and cheered about George Bush being a tyrant were tyrants. That's what I'm tired of hearing. I'm tired of hearing France, who the only reason they were opposed to the war in Iraq was because they were going to get the oil rights from Saddam, complaining about us. I'm tired of hearing Germany and most of the UN who were involved in the oil for food scandal when the reason in Iraq complaining about us. My problem here is, and maybe this is insensitive, I don't really care if they don't like us anymore because I'm not exactly that impressed with them. I'm not that impressed with the Middle East and their policies. I'm not that impressed with Europe. So if they don't like me, I guess I'm not losing sleep over that. Call that cowboyism. But I don't exactly see why we have to worry about tyrants liking us.
Well, I'm not worried about whether they like us or not.
Yes.
I'm just worried what they're going to do with their hatred of us.
Well, okay, if we left them all alone, if we would have walked in and after what would she have done after 9/11? All right, we'll just leave you guys alone. We understand we don't like you. We don't want to inflame anything. Do you think that would have stopped it?
Of course not.
How many attacks have we had on U.S. soil since 9/11? Major attacks.
Well, none, actually.
Exactly. So pissing them off hasn't exactly led them back down here again. I think that here's what we need to do. We need to readdress the torture issue, and we need to discuss it, and we need to discuss it in a civil debate, which is what's going on right now. And the nice part about our democracy is in 3 years, a new president's going to be in here, and he might change everything again. We have that great opportunity. I don't think Bush is going to try to overthrow and coup the country. If he does, then I'll apologize, and we'll have a whole different discussion then. We need to work through that, but we have to be able to do it in some way where we're not being almost childish in our view about America. This is a democracy. Each challenge that we've faced so far in the 200 years, we have succeeded in to most degrees. Civil rights, freedom, and everything. We find a way of making this work. Why we have this cynical outlook on our country now just baffles me, and I think it's because we've had it so good for so long, we don't understand what bad is.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Colby?
My thoughts is it's that and the media.
Yes, well, yes.
Okay.
What bleeds
And you got to put it this way. First of all, if you watch one particular news channel, they're going to be biased.
Yes.
Okay. The left news is biased.
Everyone.
The right news is biased. Okay. They're both biased. It's hard to get any real information from either one, and that's what just drives me crazy. Because I would like to know, I would just like a middle ground, some independent news, and
you'd have to have robots do it because unfortunately, human beings run the news, and really unfortunately, human beings run the world. Alrighty, we'll be back in a second for more Tales from the Antiman.